Hello. Ooh. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Val. I'm so happy you're here and that you clicked on this video, because you know what, girl, that means that you are so ready to have an amazing 2020. Good for you. As you saw in that intro clip, I'm currently having my lunch. I made a little bit extra for Joe, which is why it was like such a large portion downstairs. I'm gonna give it a quick taste test. It's pretty good. It's just some like makeshift fried rice. So okay, so as you can see, I'm in my PJs, so this is gonna be a super duper informal video, but I really wanted to film it because I felt like I have a lot to say about this topic. I think as the new year kind of gets started, a lot of people are looking for ways to better themselves and I guess take the opportunity of what is a new year and new beginnings and all of those things to try something different and look for different things to do. So I am just super duper quickly making this video literally in my pajamas. I'm going to get out what I have to say. I'm gonna eat my lunch and it's just gonna be like we're hanging out. It's just gonna be like a little girls talk, but like not really. Anyway, let's just get started. Pull down my shorts. Okay, so the first tip that I have for you guys today has to do with how to deal with doing boring things. So school in general is pretty diverse. There's like a lot of different things to cover. Like you are never just doing a single subject. There's always like social studies, English, math, all sorts of different topics and things that you could be covering in school. And for some of us, we don't necessarily love like from beginning to end absolutely everything, you know? Like there's always some things that we find more interesting than others. And so the question arises within that, which is like, how can we make ourselves really work for a subject that we don't even really like, you know? So I've been really blessed and I haven't really disliked a lot of subjects in my life. I've always had like a decent interest for all these subjects. I'm a very like kind of like diverse learner. Like I really like all sorts of different things. But when I got to college, I finally found something that I was just like, girl, no. I just hated it, and that was accounting. I hated accounting. And I found myself again and again being really turned off to doing the work for that class, you know? Most of the work that was really simple, like it was just like a homework, like turn it in, get it over with. The simple stuff, that was easy to do. What was harder to do was things that required a little bit from my part, like maybe studying for a test or like maybe just completing any assignment that took a little bit more effort and actually had to do more with the subject. And so I found that the best way to be able to deal with the discomfort of having to do something that you're not particularly passionate or happy about doing is do it in the morning. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the morning. Like, hear me out. If you're not a morning person, girl, that's cool, that's fine. But the thing is, I watched a lot of videos about how to focus and how to really be able to send your energy into what you're doing when you're really turned off by it. And the number one thing I found again and again was that you needed to de-stimulate yourself, like understimulate yourself, because we live in a world right now where we're constantly being stimulated. We're constantly seeing all sorts of cool things, the different things, social media, you get it. But the thing is, whenever we're doing something that we don't necessarily like as much, it's really underwhelming. It can be harder to get started, at least. The best way to get started is to understimulate yourself so that going into something that isn't super stimulating for you is easier. And so there's a ton of different ways to understimulate yourself, de-stimulate yourself, whatever you may want to call it. One of them is meditation. Sometimes you just have to wait and like make yourself get bored. So if I was ever stuck on an afternoon or nighttime and I needed to do an accounting assignment, basically I would just like put my phone to the side. I would put myself in like the blandest room in my whole house, which in my old house it was upstairs, and I would just stare at the wall or stare at the window until like I felt sufficiently like calm enough and like focused on my breath and understimulated to where like anything was more fun than that. And so then I could go into doing the accounting homework and be able to actually focus and not just find it super boring, you know, and then not be able to focus and then just fall down this rabbit hole of just wasting my time. And we're not about wasting time. It's not about to happen this year. Okay, but with that said, going back to the whole morning thing, I find that the best time that you are understimulated, the best time that I've found myself being able to focus on anything, even if I hate it, is in the morning. So when I first wake up and I'm super duper groggy, if I choose to not look at my phone, or at least just not scroll through it for a lot of time, you're trying to not stimulate your brain. So I wake up, I don't check my phone, and then I think about a task that I need to do. So usually in the morning for me, it's like doing dishes, cleaning my room, tackling a homework assignment, anything like that, doing laundry even, like before you actually become stimulated by the entirety that is the world. Going into and doing something really boring is not so hard, or at least that's how it is for me. And so I really encourage you this year, take advantage of your mornings, wake up bright and early, be like, okay, I'm ready to get these things out of the way for the whole day, and do it. Like, just go for it. Like, put your phone to the side, everyone's probably sleeping anyway, like nobody's gonna need you that much early in the morning, and like make time to do those boring things for yourself. This first tip I'm gonna say is probably the most important out of all the tips that I'm going to recommend in this video, because I'm sure you guys have heard at some point in your life that the most successful people in the world, like, they are all sorts of different, they come from all sorts of different backgrounds, but something that mostly all of them have in common is that they wake up super duper early. And girl, I am telling you, like, conspiracy theory right now, just between you and me right here right now, maybe it's because they wake up understimulated and get all that boring stuff done and out of the way first, right? I don't know if you can hear that, but that's Jo screaming. She's doing a Minecraft event right now. Sorry, Jo's my roommate. She plays Minecraft. There's a saying that one of my favorite professors last year had, that he would always bring up and entice in a class, and that was that people pay big money for the boring stuff, right? The stuff that not a lot of people wants to do. There's money there, there's a business there, right? The things that nobody wants to do. If you can be good at something nobody wants to do, at something boring, you'll get that dough. And so anyway, with that said, I think that kind of hopefully sufficiently explains tip number one. Let's go ahead and move on to my less long and explain intensive tip number two. Okay, so my second tip, have a balanced life. So I'd say probably one of the hardest things about being a student in general is having to balance your entire life, like your social life, if you work, the fact that you're a student and your education, and then maybe you have a family and you want to give time to them, friends, your health, religion, spirituality, just there's so much that you could potentially have on your plate. And making sure that you give each one of the aspects of your life enough time is, I think, the key to success in all of those areas. I don't know. So there's several ways that we can go about finding that balance in our lives in regards to all the things that we think are important to us. But I think one of the most important ones, or something that we can often forget and we ought to actually focus on, is being present and giving your 100% to whatever you're doing at the time. So let's say I go home for the weekend and I'm gonna go visit my family, and my school life is here in my college town, and then I'm gonna go visit my family. So if I go visit my family and I'm on my phone my whole time and I'm trying to like really prioritize myself and my mental health by decompressing and being on my phone while I'm home with my family. Hey, I'm filming a video.
Oh,
Your food is in the microwave.
you are the best.
I'll just wait until you go in your room because I feel awkward.
What'd you say?
Nothing. Then I'm not actually having a balanced life. In fact, I'm taking away from the time that I'm supposed to be focusing on my family and instead taking it for myself. So with that being said, when you're in school, let it be that you're in school. When you're with your family, let it be that you're with your family. When you're with your friends, let that be that you're with your friends. Try your very best. I know sometimes it can be almost inevitable and impossible, but try your best to not let those aspects of your life overlap. So then in that way you can actually sufficiently feel fulfilled by each one and feel like you're actually taking part in each of the things, and in that have a more balanced life, right? Remember that you want to split up your time accordingly and really figure out what would be best for you in the long run. The long run is our lives. So at the end of the day, whenever you sit back 20 years from now and look back at your older self in 2020, when you look back in 2040 or whatever, are the choices that you're making today going to be something that makes you happy in the future? Are you going to be happy that you spent 90% of your time doing work? Are you going to be happy that you spent 90% of your time on your phone? Are you going to be happy that you spent all your time partying or anything like that? Oh, and one last thing, having a balanced life allows you to decrease your chance of burnout, of course, because the more mindful you are of where your energy goes, the less likely it is that you'll give too much of yourself to one single aspect and burn yourself out through overworking, over loving, over phoning. Balance is good. Moderation is good. Moving on. The third tip I have for you to have a super fly, super amazing semester is to look ahead. So I know that life has different factors to it, and so there's different things that could happen at any given time, and you can't totally predict the future. But I also know that there are some things that are in our control and that we can try our best to prepare ourselves for said future. With that said, I encourage you to not only try to keep a calendar and a planner to keep track of your next month, next 2 months, next 3 months, but I also encourage you to look a little bit further ahead. That helped me out tremendously as a high school student, because when I was looking to what was going to be the most helpful for me past high school is what helped me make the best decisions for myself when I was in high school. So like, for example, taking AP classes, you probably wouldn't take AP classes other than if you think that you're really smart and you can handle it, or if you think that you should take it because it will benefit your college life and your college education and your prepared readiness level for college. Additionally, being aware that I was going to continue my education past high school gave me an idea that I really needed to solidify what I was learning in high school so that it wouldn't come back and bite me in the butt when I was in college. Like, for example, when I took a math class, I would be like, oh, I probably should really try to get this in my brain because there's a chance that it will come back in another class when I'm in college, because my education, instead of having like 4 more years, like looking like at high school terms, it actually has like 8 more years or potentially like 10 more years. So I should probably try and have a solid foundation so that my future can be litty. In high school and college, something else that's helped me a lot is having a plan of what I'm gonna do in the summers, or just like a little bit further ahead. So like, for example, in high school, I would always take summer courses so that I could include a study hall in my schedule during the year, because I really liked having that extra time to do homework or to just study, because I danced for like 20 hours a week in high school and my after schools were really busy. Like, I didn't have all the time in the world to do schoolwork. So that was something that was extremely helpful for me, and I would not have been able to do that if I wasn't looking ahead and trying to actively benefit my future self by making good choices in the past. Speaking of looking ahead, I think I'm gonna give one last little hint, one last little tip for you guys. This doesn't necessarily have to do with school, but if you got student loans, like maybe it does. Essentially, if you are looking ahead into your future and you care about going to college, or maybe getting your master's, or buying a house in the future, having family, kids, stuff like that, I will encourage you to consider investing your money. And if you don't know what investing is, here's a little Google explanation so you can know. Alright guys, that has been my video for this 2020, how to prepare yourself for this 2020 year, how to kick absolute ass this semester with your grades, with your life. Girl, that holistic lifestyle is a thing. I absolutely hope that you have an amazing first day of school. If you already have it, I hope it was great. And if you're gonna have it in the future like me, I also hope it's great. Here's to more videos this semester and more videos this year. My name has been Val. If you have absolutely any comments or anything that you want to say to me, I appreciate whatever you're gonna say, and I hope that you leave it down in the comments. That's kind of all I have to say. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you give it a thumbs up if you did like it, and subscribe if you haven't yet.